Hey, today we'd like to talk about the plant known as Gotu Kola. And before we get further, I'd like to remind you I'm not a medical practitioner. I'm not giving out any advice in regards that it'll cure X, Y, and Z. I'm saying that this plant may assist with X, Y, and Z. Obviously, err on the side of caution if you are pregnant and or breastfeeding and on medication. Now, you can find this plant often in tropical and subtropical areas across the globe, and mostly in regions like India, Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia, and some parts of Africa. Now, in Ayurvedic and ancient Chinese medicine traditions, they would often call this herb the herb of enlightenment. And fun fact, it's actually part of the parsley family, which I found to be quite interesting. Now, there's some minerals, or should I say mostly vitamins in there that are potentially assisting us with good health. So we're talking about things like vitamin C, there's vitamin B complex, magnesium, calcium, potassium, and zinc. So reasonably high levels of these vitamins and minerals within the plant. Of course, you would probably need to eat a huge volume of the plant to get your daily recommended dose of these things from one plant. But of course, that's not really how things work. So, a bit of this, a bit of that, it all starts to add up, right? So how do people often like to consume it? Well, often through like picking from the garden. They might get fresh leaves, they'll put it in their food, put it in their cooking. Often you can get it dried in a dried form, have it in a tea. Some people will make tinctures out of it for supplementation, might help with particular ailments of the mind, body, soul. And people also use it topically in creams for certain skin conditions as well. Now, I usually like to make the recommendation, get it organic if you can. If you've got it growing in your garden and you trust how you're growing it, then of course that's another great way to source it. And yeah, if we could have everything organic, that would be amazing, of course. But yeah, I think getting an organic form of as many of the herbs you can is probably more optimal for your health. Now, the kind of things that Gotu Kola will usually assist with are things to do, actually, a lot of them are to do with the brain, which is amazing. Some research that's been done there about like assisting the brain with its like power and firing up of particular abilities. Can also help with boosting your memory as well. There's some research to show that it's got some anti-anxiety and sort of like stress relief properties as well. As I said before, there are some skin conditions that Gotu Kola works well with. Some people also will prepare Gotu Kola in a particular way for wound healing as well, which is pretty amazing. Can also help with circulation and vein support throughout the body, and it's often associated with a lot of anti-inflammatory and detoxifying like effects as well. So yes, if you're going to have it in large doses and you're going through a detox protocol, that probably could be quite powerful. But of course, you want to be going through a protocol, probably with some particular supervision, if you want to take yourself through a detoxing process, whether that's with Gotu Kola or other herbs and methods as well. Now, a lot of the cultural stories that you can find about Gotu Kola are often in that sort of Asian area of the world. So places like India, they would often, in the traditional ancient way, use it for what they would call as expanding consciousness. Obviously, they'd have another way that they would describe it, but that's how the English have translated it. And it can also be used to support particular meditative practices as well. And I'm not surprised with that, especially with how it fires up the brain. And obviously, not all meditation, but some meditative practices often very much, there's a lot going on with this space with the practices. That's all I can really say about that. Now, in China, they would often make tonics out of this, and they would call it like a longevity tonic. That's just the English translation. There's probably a lot more beautiful expression of what that actually is in Mandarin. And in Sri Lanka, the elephants actually eat it, which I think is very sweet. And obviously, humans being the way that we are for many years, we do like to observe, how are the other beings interacting with the plants that we like to eat, and these interesting associations that can be made. And because in Sri Lanka, they would often associate elephants as being wise animals and wise expression of the divine, then they've sort of come up with this name. It's, in its translation to English, of associating Gotu Kola with what they call the food of the wise, which I think is very sweet. And elephants are very beautiful creatures, as all creatures are in their own way. Also noticing within myself that they definitely make probably my top 10 favorite animals that we have in existence at the moment. Actually, no, I have seen elephants in real life before. Yeah, I've been to some parts of Southeast Asia and have observed other people riding them. That's a topic for another day. Don't recommend it for animal rights reasons, but we'll leave that there. Complete divergence. Oh my gosh. I'll leave it in because that way I'm being authentic. And if you've got any questions about Gotu Kola, maybe you've had some experiences with it yourself, let me know. There's some links to various social media, email. There's also a comment section if you're watching this on YouTube or another video platform. And I'll see you in the next vlog.